Hello, hello, hello. This is V. Scott. We'll be talking about Charles Gordon. He was born October 12th, 1925. He passed away on November 16th, 1995. He was an American playwright, actor, director, educator. He was the first African American to win the annual Pulitzer Prize in Drama, and he devoted much of his professional life to the pursuit of multiracial American theater and racial unity. His early years, he was born Charles Edward Fleming in Cleveland, Ohio, to Charles and Camille Fleming of African American, Native American, and European heritage. With his brothers Jack and Stanley and his sister Shirley, he grew up in Elka, Indiana, where he attended Elka High School. Camille Fleming remarried William L. Gordon and later had Gordon's sister, Leah Jardine. In his 20s, Gordon served in the U.S. Air Force and afterwards moved to California, where he soon married his first wife, Juanita Barton, in 1948. Together, they had two children, Stephen Gordon and Judy Ann Reiser. Later, the couple parted ways, and Barton ensconced himself into theater at Los Angeles City College and California State University, Los Angeles. He then moved to New York City, where he waited tables and pursued an acting career. In the 1950s, Charles met his second wife, Jean Warner, in Greenwich Village, New York City, where he settled. In the 1960s, they had one child together, Leah Carla Gordon. During the 1960s revolution, open marriages were common, and Charles met artist Nancy Meadows. Together, they had a son, David Brent Gordon. Yet Charles Gordon remained with Jean Warner, raising their daughter Leah Carla in New York City. Over the years, while Nancy Meadows left her position with the Washington Post and traveled around with her son David as a member of Wavy Gravy's Hog Farm, a 1960s hippie communa caravan group that coordinated light shows for major concerts around the U.S., including the first Woodstock concert. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Gordon continued acting and began directing. At one point, he sang and played guitar in a calypso band. He co-founded both the Committee for the Employment of Negro Performers and the, the Vantage Theater in Queens. His acting credits included Brother Jero, in The Trials of Brother Jero, Bohem Hickey, in Of Mice and Men, and The Valet in Jeans Garnets. The Blacks the 1961 through 66, alongside James Earl Jones, Maya Angelou, Cicely Tyson, and many others. Black actors went on to change Hollywood. In 1987, Gordon appeared in the movie Angel Heart, starring Mickey Rourke, Lisa Bonet, and Robert De Niro. He also assisted with the casting of the 1960s film Nothing But a Man, starring Ivan Dixon, Abby Lincoln, and Julius Harris. I think I said that name right. And so the Blacks, I knew about that. It was like a play, I think. The Blacks that Maya Angelou and Cicely Tyson was in, because I remember watching something where Cicely Tyson was talking about that. And so that's when I got so excited. It was like the Blacks. So I think I'll visit that and talk to you all about that as well. What I want to say is thank you for coming, Be blessed and have a great one. Mwah. So now we're going to talk about Lorraine Hansberry. Lorraine Vivian Hansberry is her full name. She was born May 19th, 1930. She passed away on January 12th, 1965. She was a playwright and writer. She was the first African American female author to have a play performed on Broadway. Her best known work, the play A Raisin in the Sun, highlights the lives of Black Americans living under racial segregation in Chicago. The title of the play was taken from the poem Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? At the age of 29, she won the New York Drama Critics Circle Award, making her the first African American dramatist, the fifth woman, and the youngest playwright to do so. Hansberry's family had struggles against segregation, challenging a restrictive covenant, and eventually provoking the Supreme Court case. So that is Lorraine Hansberry. Let's see what else. Okay, so after she moved to New York City, Hansberry worked at the Pan-Africanist newspaper Freedom, where she dealt with intellectuals such as Paul Robeson and W.E.B. Du Bois. Much of her work during this time concerned the African struggle for liberation and their impact on the world. Hansberry's writings also discussed her lesbianism and the oppression of homosexuality. She died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 34. Hansberry inspired the song by Nina Simone entitled "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black." So, yeah, so that was about Hansberry, Lorraine Hansberry. So you see that she was actually the one of the first playwrights and the youngest playwright, and she died young. She did die young, and a song was inspired by her, Nina Simone, "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black." So I know y'all hear all that noise out there, somebody riding by here with all of that, but I don't I don't have many words. Let me see. I think I have more. Here's some more So yeah, that's what I had to say about that. What I'm saying is go and check out the information on Lorraine Hansberry, and find out about her for yourself and get more information on her. As a just as a Black playwright, as a playwright, period. Just go and check her out and see about her, and learn about our people, learn about your people, is what I'm saying. Go and check her out, because I think that you will be intrigued at the things that you find out. And if you don't want to check her out, check somebody out. You know what I mean? Check out some other people of our heritage, because we don't really know a lot about our people, but I'm sure that many people may know about Lorraine Hansberry. But I just wanted to kind of bring her out and put her up here, because some people may not know about her, and if you don't, get to know her. Go and check out her work, And I did check out the play A Raisin in the Sun. I checked that out because it was actually in the library, so I checked it out. It was pretty good. So we're going to be talking about Sussie King Taylor. She was born August 6, 1848. She passed away on October 6, 1912. She was the first black Army nurse. She tended to an all-black Army regiment named the 1st South Carolina Volunteers Union, later redesignated the 33rd United States Colored Infantry Regiment, where her husband served for 4 years during the Civil War. Despite her service, like many African American nurses, she was never paid for her work. As the author of Reminiscences of My Life in Camp with the 33rd United States Colored Troops, late 1st South Carolina Volunteers, was the only African American woman to publish a memoir of her wartime experiences. She was also the first African American to teach openly in a school for former slaves in Georgia. At this school in Savannah, Georgia, she taught children during the day and adults at night. She is the 2018 class of inductees of the Georgia Women Achievement. I know y'all heard that. Reading this, and so I'm gonna read a little more about her. Sussie King Taylor was born a slave at a plantation in Liberty County, Georgia, on August 6, 1848, as Susan Ann Baker. When she was about 7 years old, her owner allowed her to go to Savannah to live with her grandmother, Dolly. Taylor's admiration for women may have stemmed from her close relationship with Dolly. Despite Georgia's harsh laws against the formal education of African Americans, Dolly, with whom Taylor lived for much of her childhood, supported Taylor's education by sending her to an illegal school run by a free African American woman, Miss Woodhouse. After learning all she could from Miss Woodhouse, Taylor continued her education under the tutelage of various teachers, both white and black, including playmates and the son of her grandmother's landlord. From them, she gained the rudiments of literacy, then extended her education with the help of two white youths, both of whom knowingly violated law and custom. Her education ended when she was forced to return to her mother on the Isle of Wight after Dolly was arrested at a suburban church meeting for singing freedom hymns. Taylor had to move back with her mother in Fort Pulaski, I think I said that right. But the Union took the fort not long after. Taylor fled with her uncle and his family to St. Catherine's Island, where they received Union protection and a transfer to St. Simon's Island. Taylor impressed the commanding officers with her ability to read and write, and was offered a position running a school for children and adults on the island. In April 1862, Sussie Baker and many other African Americans fled to St. Simon's Island, occupied at the time by Union forces. Within days, her educational advantages came to the attention of Army officers who offered to obtain books for her if she would organize a school. She thereby became the first black teacher for freed African American students to work in a freely operating freedmen's school in Georgia. She taught 40 children in a day at school and a number of adults who came to me nights, all of them so eager to learn to read to read above anything else. She taught there until October 1862. Thank you for listening. Be blessed and have a great one.